Hello and welcome to another episode of me sharing my love of crafting here on YouTube. This is my channel called aKnittersSoul and my name is Elo. As the name suggests, I love the craft of knitting the most, I guess. That is my comfort space. That's what I always fall back on. And that is what I will be sharing most. But I do have a little tiny tad of crocheting this time as well. But yeah, just make a mental note, it's tiny. So if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's nice to have you here spending time with me again. If you're new, I do hope you find something to your liking. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and you will be notified when my next episode comes up, as soon as it does. A little bit of admin. I will, as always, link all the patterns and yarn shops, podcasts, whatever I mention down below. So yeah, that's where we'll find it. Also, I will be putting all my social media information down below. And yeah, if you feel like supporting me, you can maybe buy me a cup of coffee. It's not a requirement for watching my podcast at all. It is just a little help to me to bring this to you, and yeah, let's get started. It's been a minute since I podcasted last, so I do have quite a bit to share, and yeah, let's get into it. It's been a while, so I feel a little bit out of it. What I'm wearing today is my summer fling tee by Fløtre. This was a test knit that I did for her a little while back. I knitted out of line from Sandnes Garn, which is a linen viscose blend, I believe. And yeah, I love it. I love the fit of it. I love the fabric that's created with this yarn. I did struggle getting the gauge. I had to go down quite a few needle sizes to get the gauge, but all in all, I'm really happy with it. I was looking for the pattern on Ravelry now. I could not see this pattern on there, but I saw that her sweater version is there. I also looked into her webpage, and that tee is for, like, the pattern for the tee is for sale there, but I do not know if it is only in Norwegian or if she's also translated into English. But yeah, it is also in her book that she published about a year ago, I believe. Yeah, again, I will be linking everything down below. So yeah, I had to put on quite a light tee today as I was boiling in this room. I could not wear the sweater I had planned to wear because it just got too hot. I could not bear having that on. But yeah, that is what I'm wearing. Let's get into the finished objects, because there are quite a few. Let's start off with the socks that I showed you last time. They are finished now. I think I was missing only the ribbing bit there. These are my Enrai socks, and let me lean over. They are by Keikko Kikkono, and let me remind you of the original ones. I just thought they were really pretty and fun way of using, well, like, not using, but fun way of adding color to your socks. Sorry about that. And I really enjoyed making them. I think they turn out really fun. If you were here last time, I did mention at first I was kind of disappointed over the fact that they were such long color changes, but I do love the end result of it, and I think it worked really well in this color work. Yeah, color work sock. It worked really nicely as that. So yeah, these are my end row socks. Let me see. The yarns that I use are Drops Fabel. The black one is Drops Fabel, and the color one is called Lakshmi. Yeah, Happylicious it is, and it is by Vikkevira. Happylicious, Vikkevira, Lakshmi. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way they turn out. Really happy. Yeah, I won't talk much more about them, as I've spoken about them before quite extensively. So I'm just trying to figure where to put everything because I'm drowning in things. Let me see, that was the socks. Oh yeah, I showed you last time that I was knitting some washcloth or dishcloth. It was a pattern by Britta Mikkelsborg. I have since gifted them together with the Baker's twines that I was knitting, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way they turn out. I got 3 dishcloths out of that 1 skein of wool. Really wonderful pattern to follow, very simple but very effective I find, and the recipient was very happy with both the color choice and everything. And the funny thing was that when I went to visit her, she had hung all of the dishcloth up and the Baker's twines pot holders up, and next to them there was this beautiful hand towel which was in the same colors, and it turned out it was something that she's inherited from her grandmother, I believe it was, and it was in the same colors. So it was just amazing how things sometimes turn out, because I've been trying to fish from my brother like what color schemes do they have in the kitchen, what kind of colors does his wife like, and he was just not good at responding on that. So going with a gut feeling, and it worked out fine. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I think I used 88 grams of that 100 gram ball, so I'll see what I'll do with this little tiny leftover. But yeah, all in all, really happy with that project. Then I showed you this last time. This is my gecko scarf by Trine Jensen. And this is what I mean with my tiny bit of crocheting. I crocheted on, as it is called for in the pattern. You can opt out of it, but I just loved it. I needed to have these bubbles. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is in, let me see, let me just go into it. It is in English and Danish, and there were like couple small mistakes in the pattern or unclear directions, but if you have knitted some before, you can figure it out, and it's actually really intuitive and it's not difficult at all. But what I initially fell for was the texture of this shawl, and yeah, I just love it. Let me see, let me just adjust the light a little bit there. Is it this way, that way, that way? A little less there. I feel I'm like being blown out by the light that I have. But I do need to have extra light because it is gloomy outside, and I have just this really poor lamp over my head, which always makes me look like I'm sick. Anyway, yeah, so the texture looks like it's crocheted, but it is knitted, and you do a you can, this is also optional, you can do either a regular bind off, or you can do a crochet bind off, and then you do the bubbles. And I absolutely love and adore this shawl. I think it's so pretty. I love the yarns. I think that did a lot of this. I like made this as pretty as it is. And let me pull out the yarns. They are in my bag from Inge Johanne. I love her bags. I think it's so pretty. I don't know, I just fell for it. Absolutely, with these subtle colors. So yeah, the colors that I've used, or the yarns that I've used, are stranded dye works. Oh, let me see. Stranded dye works. Colorway Lichen, and I still have a little nugget left. But when I was measuring the God, what's the word? It's a 4-row repeat, and when I was measuring how much I had used, like for the 4 last rows, I figured that this is either gonna be just enough, and I will be like playing yarn chicken, or I would actually run out before. So I didn't take that chance, and I think it's actually good enough size on it, so I'm happy with the choice. And then it's I held it double with Ito Sensai mohair called Cabbage, which I think complemented this yarn so beautifully, because I wanted to pull out the green in this yarn a little bit more, because it's a very subtle green. It's not a very strong green, and I didn't want to lean too much into the gray, so I thought this was just a perfect color to bring out the greens in there. And the bubbles I have knitted out of Arvetta Filcolana, from Filcolana. It is the color number 243. I believe it is it the Sprout? Doesn't matter. You can look it up if you're interested in. I think it's a very pretty color, and again I think it complemented this yarn very nicely. It kind of brought out the colors that are already in this ball, which is really hard to capture because it's so light. You can see, actually there you can see, like, just, yeah. So gecko scarf, Trine Jensen. I absolutely recommend this yarn, and if you are gonna knit this, I recommend you find the yarn that is not too busy, because I did start this yarn in a different yarn, and I felt that, yeah, I've spoken about this before, but again, the pattern wasn't doing the yarn justice, and the yarn wasn't doing the pattern justice, so I would recommend going for something that is not too busy. And I felt like even though this yarn is not too busy, I wanted to tone down a little bit without losing its interest totally. And I love it. It's this beautiful, tiny, lovely, well, not tiny, but it's this perfect size to have under your jacket. And I've actually been using it quite a lot already, because it's just so easy to throw on, and I love the bubbles. I feel like liven up the shawl quite a lot. And yeah, I'm not a huge green person, but I do like, I don't know, I'm in a greenish phase. I do kind of fall for green yarns these days. Yeah, don't know if I'm going to talk about so many green things today, but I'm sure you'll see it at least in the future. I don't really have a proper overview of things that I have to show. It's too many. But yeah, I can recommend this free pattern on Ravelry, English, Danish. Go check it out. The next one I cast on was out of necessity, as I needed something simple to knit on. And also, this is gift knit. This is my Fleur. or however you pronounce it, by Space Tricot. It's quite big. Oh, I do not reach the tips. Like, ooh, there I have the tip. So it's quite substantial size. I mean, okay, I'll get to that later. This I knit out of Vilja from Hillesvåg Ullvarefabrikk, which I'm so ill prepared, even though I did prepare. Oh, there it is. It's this yarn there. It was meant to be a sweater before it became a shawl, and I'm really happy with that choice. This is 100% Norwegian lamb wool. It is 375 meters to 100 grams. Let me see if I turn. Yeah, there. And I had, I think, about 150 grams of this yarn, so I knew from looking at the pattern that I was not gonna have enough of this yarn for the whole shawl. So what I decided to do was actually add some phenol to it from Rauma. Yeah, and I've taped this together really badly, but okay. It is 150 grams to 175 minutes, which is also 100% Norwegian wool. And you can't really tell on screen, well, just barely. This is more of a nature color, well, not nature, natural white, and this is more like a bleached white, which I thought would work perfect. Okay, I got so many thoughts in my head now. I had so many thoughts when I was making this. My idea was that I wanted to pair this white with this lilac from Kid Silk, like from Kid Silk from Drops Garn Studio. And I think actually it's a new color from them. It is number 55. This is really pretty lilac. Not my color, but I can knit out of it for others, which is just fine. And okay, back to my thought process is that this yarn here is ever so slightly, which is Hillesvåg Vilja, is ever so slightly thinner than the phenol. And also this one was brighter. I didn't have enough of this, so I thought that if I paired this with this mohair, I would get this soft lilac-y kind of color, and then this white would pop a bit more, as it wasn't like this sort of natural white, but it was more like a white. And I think it did. I think it, I mean, you can see it's not like very bright pops, but it gives enough interest that it doesn't disappear totally. Am I making sense? I don't know. I like it anyway. I think it turned out really pretty. I must admit I was kind of bored of knitting this at one point because there's a lot of garter stitch, and the color, even though I think it's very pretty and I think it turned out really lovely, this sort of soft lilac color, it's not me. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't like when you have self-striping yarn, or if you have variegated yarn, then there's something happening, new colors popping up, and this was just the same color all the way. So I must admit I was a bit bored, but I do love the look of the shawl, the end result of it, and I hope that the recipient is gonna like it as well. And yeah, all in all, really happy with the end result. Was a bit bored along the way, but it's a perfect project to put in your purse and take along if you're going for a knit night or visiting somebody, whoever, you know, because you don't really have to think. And I have not blocked it a lot, just tiny bit. And It's really squishy and soft and lovely, and I think it's gonna be perfect for the winter. Yeah, that was my fleur shawl from Espace Tricot. Let's go on to my Rumpelstiltskin socks. Ta-da! These you have not seen before. I have spoken about them. As in me wanting to knit them really, really bad. And I finally done so. Actually, I finished them just yesterday. They came off the needles yesterday, so I've just only steam blocked them and threw them, or like steamed them lightly and put them on the blockers, and I think they're just so pretty. I mean, look at this. It's a gorgeous pattern, and it's really, really not complicated at all, as many people have said before. So if you are a little bit intimidated by this intricate looking pattern, fear not. There are charts and written descriptions, so whatever is your jam, you will be able to follow them, I'm sure. And I'm also so happy that since last I finally, let me see, is this gonna be the right way around? No, is this the one? Yeah. I've purchased new Sockblockers. They are the right size, so it doesn't look like all of my socks are stretched out and kind of, yeah, bursting in the seams when I'm showing them to you, which I'm kind of glad for. I don't know why I bought the other ones, because really, like, that's kind of hard to show, but let me see. You see there's quite a big of a difference. Like, well, could you like, yeah, there you can see it. I don't know, like, I have nobody who has foot size 41 that I know of, like, that I've knitted socks for. I am the one with the biggest feet. I'm a big foot, and I am like a 39. So I don't know why I got that, because the next level from that is more like 42 up to 45. So I don't know what I was thinking when I bought those, but I've got finally the right size. Oh, and I'm getting all like carried away here. The yarn is from Garnfene. Let me see. Oh, just when you thought you had everything under control, you thought wrong. There it is. Oh my god. Sorry. It's such a pretty yarn. It has this sort of yellow leaning into green kind of base, with the speckles of dark green and sort of brown orange. Really pretty. It's coming off quite true to the color, maybe a little bit lighter. And yeah, I did translate it last time. I did not check it out this time, but yeah, it's Garnfene, and it is Vår I Økeskogen. And if you want to know what it is in English, I'm gonna refer you to my last episode, because I did translate it there, but I forgot to note it down for this time around. But yay! I finally got my Rumpelstiltskin socks, because I've been wanting to try to knit them for such a long time. I know especially Ingil from Tourette and Vrang, she's knitted quite a few of these, which is quite impressive. Well, quite impressive. It's just, I know that she likes this pattern a lot, and she's made quite a few, and it's just, I know why, I see why. They are beautiful. And if I didn't say it before, this pattern is by very busy monkey. And this is a pattern that is available on Ravelry. I believe it is in, let's see, yeah, just in English. So yeah, head out, check it out if you're interested. Then I'm gonna pull out a finished object that I've spoken about before. But I'm gonna pull it out again because last time when I showed it to you, it did not have a crochet edge. So, and I just wanted to put on the edge because it is a pretty shawl, but I wanted to have a pop of color to it. I wanted to pick up the pops of red that are quite bright in there and get them out there as well. Try to tie it a little bit together, and I think it turned out just fine. Again, a perfect shawl to have under your jacket. It's not too big. It's like just perfect. You can make a knot there. And yeah, style it however you want, of course, naturally. Nice, warm. And yeah, it's just simple scallops. So if you're a crocheter, I'm sure you know how to make this. And as I didn't know if I had enough of this sort of brightish red finial rest left over that I had, I alternated with, like, every second scallop I made either with the solid one or the more variegated red one, which I also have in these wings here, and I think it turned out just perfect. I'm really happy with this. And I'm thinking that this is most probably going to be a present to somebody special. We'll see who's that gonna be. But yeah, I had to do a little comeback for my Englevingesjale or Angel Wing Shawl by Gunhild Simonsen. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, did I say that correctly? Whew, now I feel like I'm rushing through things. I thought I'll show you an old finished, oh, actually I haven't pulled that one up, sorry. I tried to be prepared, but I forgot to pull this pattern up in particular, and I don't actually have enough notes there. Sorry. One would think I'd never done this before, right? This is a sweater I knit for my man 2 Christmases ago now. It is the Ishagenser by Strikk. It's from my book, and I don't know which one of them right now by heart. If you're interested, I can look it up for you. Just reach out to me. This is knit out of the store alpaca tweed Aran, and is sort of like, I guess, a broken rib. Yeah, a broken rib, and it's like all over texture on the body, and then you got stockinette sleeves. And I think it's really, really like a wonderful sweater. A really warm and great sweater. Reason why I'm showing it now is that my man hasn't worn it since he got it. Well, he's worn it maybe once, or attempted to wear it once or twice. But he's concluded with that this jumper is too warm. So I will be gifting it to my brother. Well, like gifting, I will be giving it after talking to my man. I said, like, would you, like, rather this sitting in your closet, would it be okay if we sort of gave this away and I made you another one which isn't as warm, because it is a very, very warm yarn. and he agreed to that, so I will be making a different jumper for him out of more, I guess, pure wool, because that will be lighter. It will be warm, but not as warm as alpaca. Ooh, and I'm starting to itch from this. Like if you're returning viewer, you know I do react to this yarn a little bit. And what else? Well, I can talk a little bit about the pattern. It is a quite well written pattern, if I remember correctly. The only thing that I was lacking as of information was how much of positive ease it was in this jumper, because I was very much torn between these two sizes. I think it was either a medium or large. I was thinking about it because he is, like, generally speaking, more on a large scale when it comes to the clothing. But when I was looking at the amount of stitches that we're giving, I was a little bit unsure if I wanted to knit as big one as the large called for. And I'm glad I didn't, because it did have quite a bit of positive ease, and it was more than big enough in size medium for my man. So that is like the only thing I lack with those patterns, unfortunately. I do like that about a lot of the English patterns, which do give you like, yeah, either the positive or negative ease you're supposed to be getting or go for in the patterns. And I did reach out to, I don't think it was exactly, I think I reached out to, I'm like looking at the book over there, to Strikk on Instagram, I think. This is a while ago, so I might be lying to you through my teeth without knowing it and not meaning to figure out if there was positive, how much it was. But I think they just came back to me with an answer. It was something along the lines that it's normal positivity, so I don't know. To me, that was very little information. But otherwise, it's a very, I think it's a very good classic looking jumper in style wise, and would absolutely recommend it. And if your man, or if yourself, you want to make yourself this one, because I think it looks beautiful on both men and women, want to make a really warm jumper, and I can recommend the yarn, because I think it was really nice to work with. And yeah, the only pity is that I do react to it myself, so I'm not going to be working too much with this yarn just because of that, I think. I'm just trying to think when I was knitting another jump. Yeah, no, I mean, it's okay, but like if I forget myself and take my hands from my knitting project up to my face because I'm itching or whatever, it's yeah. If I don't have to knit with that yarn, then I'm not gonna, and it's nothing to do with the yarn, it's just me being sensitive to it. Okay, I rushed through all of my finished objects. You still awake? I hope so. You still here? I hope so. I was gonna say I have a lot of works in progress, but I actually don't. So why am I rushing so bad? That's a good question. Maybe, yeah. I suddenly got so unsure, like, how to proceed. But let's proceed with what's on my needles. Yesterday I did pull up my plant lady that I've shown before, and I decided on a length that I want for the body to be before splitting for the arms, or like the back and front. So I did knit in the evening a few centimeters, and I think I'm about at the point now where I will do the splitting for the front and the back and the sleeves. And the reason I mean, this one I didn't work on because I lost my mojo at one point, and and also because I was like unsure about the length, because it is called, the pattern calls for 37 centimeters, which is, I thought it was a little bit long maybe. And then it was about figuring out, well, how long do I want it, or how short do I want it. And after some back and forth, yesterday I pulled out this t-shirt. I had another sweater that I measured, and I figured out that, okay, this in between size there I think is gonna be wonderful, because this is a more crop tee and this is supposed to be more on the boxy side, so I want this to be a little bit longer than like a crop tee. So I figured out this sort of in between length that I do like, and so I'm gonna knit it till it's 34 centimeters, which I think is pretty much just a couple rows away now, and then I will be splitting it for this sleeve. Oh my god, the sleeves, the back and the front. And yeah, this plant lady was by so badly prepared, even though I thought I was prepared. It is by Agata Makiewicz. This is also a pattern that you can find on Ravelry, and I think it's a very pretty, very simple but very pretty tee. And I'm knitting it out of Trine from Sandnes Garn, and the color is 9822. And I think it's a very pretty green. Like, I've been leaning into greens, which is not very typical on me, but sometimes I do find the so-called right green, and then I actually find myself being drawn to it. So yeah, I'm hoping to make some progress on it, because one of the reasons why I pulled it out yesterday, I was like, this is so silly, just get it done with. It is simple stockinette stitch, it's nothing complicated. Why are you procrastinating? And also I have so many other things I wanna cast on, so I thought, like, let this be kind of like a carrot. Want to get things done, get these works in progress off the needle so that I can cast on something new. And I think I've lost a note on mine. So yeah, I hopefully will have it finished by the next time I talk to you. And my rose I have not done anything on, so that will be the next project I will tackle, which is also kind of strange. It's just like, in my mind sometimes I lose the mojo because I have to think. I just can't knit. So that is the only reason why that is not been worked on. And well, actually also I've been busy knitting quite a lot. I do have another finished project, but I am not allowed to share it for today, and that's why I'm not gonna touch into it too much, and I will show it when I can. But I do have one more really fun working project. At least if you ask me, I think it's fun. And let me just pull out my information there. It is my Floro mini shawl by Florence Sperling Studio. And I'm okay, wrong way around. I'm just about midways with it, and this is it. So this is a full-on intarsia shawl, and I find it to be such a fun knit. very enjoyable. And actually most of the yarn that I'm using in this shawl has come from my stash. I did buy 2 balls of yarns to make it work, and I'm trying to see where I have my bucket with, oh sorry, I'm gonna dive in down there. I have my bucket of colors right here. So the main reason, well, not main reason, it's not maybe right to say, but one of the big reasons why I wanted to knit this pattern is that I've been looking for a pattern where I could utilize this beautiful yarn that I colored with, well, not colored with, but when I was at Gundiren's, Gundiren is a podcaster, and I met her in the summer, and when I was visiting her, we dyed some yarn. And this is what we call the mop, which is like whatever excess colors we had from the yarn that we were dyeing, we would dry it off on this hank of yarn at the time then. And then when we were done with it, we split it in 2, so she got a 50-gram ball, I got a 50-gram ball. And this is, the base is Finul, which is a sport weight, 50 to 175 or 100 to 350. And I've been wanting to use this, or okay, if you're a returning viewer, you know the story. If you knew what Gundiren does is, like, when she has visitors and when they dye yarn with her, they always end up with a mop. And what she's been doing since the sort of dawn of day, or since she started doing that, is that she splits the yarn hank in 2, and then the visitor gets to choose a shawl pattern that both will have to knit. And yeah, and I tried another pattern. I did not like it. I'm words. I love colors. I love the skein. It looks a bit, yeah, well, it's quite pastel-y, but it has those pops of colors as you see here and there, like that. Like there's a bright blue in there, and then there's something bright something else in there, like pinks. And I was trying to match colors to it, and I found it to be actually quite challenging, because there are so many colors in there, and also with the sort of main tone, the base tone, being very, very warm, very kind of pinkish and yellowish through and through kind of thing. And I like those colors, but it was challenging, I found at least, to pair it up with colors to make it work. And I was in the shop Husfliden here in Oslo, who have a wonderful selection of Rauma yarns among others, and I did end up picking up this sort of is it like a maroon color? It is colorway 0427, and I thought it was so pretty. And then I had a green with me, which I have not pulled out, but it's like, it was a green that from my stash, a green that was slightly brighter than this one, or lighter in color, not brighter but lighter in color. And this one is actually blowing out a little bit. It is not as bright as it looks like. It's more of a mossy color, I think it is. It's colorway 0489. And I started knitting up and the last color I added was just some white yarn that I've inherited from my mother. So I don't know which brand yarn it is. I think it's 100% wool. I have not tested. It feels woolly. This is from her stash, so I think this yarn might be anything from between 15 to 30 years old, because she hasn't been crafting, actually probably not even like 50, maybe 20 to 30 years old, because she hasn't been crafting for a very long time. And when she moved a couple years ago from her flat, she decided to destash everything that she had of fabrics, yarns, you name it. So I don't know what the yarn is, but it's a, I would say a bleached white woolly wool of sorts. And now when I started knitting this up with just these woolly yarns, even though it was pretty, I felt that it was so harsh with this very flat green and very flat red compared to this very subtle kind of, I don't know how to put it, I think you get what I'm saying. There is a lot of movement in this yarn, there's a lot happening in this yarn. So I ripped that out again and started over. And what I did is that I paired the red with this heather color, which is it Kid Silk? Yeah, Kid Silk Alle from Sandnes Garn, which is color 4008. And this is like what I have left over from my Wilfreda. And this one, the green, I paired it with what I believe to be a plum mohair, plum from Rauma. I do not have the color code, or yeah, it's like a mossy green, deep mossy foresty green. So that I pulled from the stash, and I also pulled this one from the stash, which is leftovers from my Stephen West shawl. Silk mohair. This is a discontinued color 1015. And then it was the question of what to pair that beautiful mop with. And I was standing in the shop and trying to put different yarns next to this ball of yarn. God, my words are escaping me. Because I was trying to see what colors I wanted to pull out of this beautiful skein. Yeah, that's more accurate. Without taking away the whole beauty of this yarn. And that's why I ended up with this pale pink. It's blowing out. It's not as pale. It's the web page, I think it says, is a light peach. I don't know if I agree with the peach, because I think it looks more like a slightly bright ballerina slipper to me. More that kind of a pink, more like a candy floss, I think. Anyhow, I am very, very happy with how it is looking now. And the color placement actually is a lucky one, because I can't remember thinking too hard about it. I knew I wanted to use, because there's 4 colors, as you see. I wanted the background to be white, but didn't want it to be very bright. So as you see, yeah, well, no, blowing out. This is more like a slightly beigey color. So this one warms up. This warms up this white, which is, I think, nice. Also, this is quite a fluffy yarn. This is slightly thinner than Finul, so it's perfect. It makes like a perfect combination there. So I wanted this sort of like those, I don't know, I'm not making any sense in my head anymore. It's hard to express what I'm trying to say. I wanted this sort of a background, a bit what I consider to be background, to be white. And this one, I think I was looking at like the meterage you're supposed to have, and I figured out I should be having enough of this to do this part there, which was like the most yarn, I think. That color, required the most yarn, so I wanted to utilize most of it, so that's why it ended up being that. And then lucky I chose contrast 3 or whatever it is to be this red, and then the green, and it looks like flowers. You couldn't really tell, I felt like, from the pictures on Ravelry. And so I'm really happy that I chose the way I did, like I said, halfway through. And I've been good. I've been sewing in ends as I go, so it wouldn't be a massive amount of ends to sew in when I'm finished. And yeah. And I've been using those, I just had the word the other day. I guess like sort of floss bobbins for my yarn, because that was what I had available at the time. I guess I could have made something out of like cardboard or whatever. But I have since ordered a package of bobbins, which are more suitable for yarn, so I can get more yarn on a bobbin. So these arrived actually just today. And yeah, have I been talking long enough about this? I think definitely plus. Yeah, I love it. Fluoro shawl, mini shawl. But yeah, mine is gonna be slightly on the bigger size, so I'm a bit not scared, but curious to see if I will actually make it to the end with the yarns that I have, or if I have to be creative. But we'll see, because I have gone up a 1/4 needle size. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. So that's work in progress. Oh, that's more of an acquisition, so that we'll get back to. Okay, plans. What I really want to cast on. Like, I want to be good now first and not cast on everything, but I want to cast on some things. And among those things is a pair of socks. And I was heavily inspired by Anne Mette from Strikkeflokken knitting podcast, because she showed what she called, I think, was like C vitamin shot socks. And they just jolted me into wanting to make some colorwork socks. And she actually, oh yeah, the book that she has them from, or like had them from, is Charming Colorwork Socks from Charlotte Stone. And she made these socks there, except what she did was she opted out of these, I guess they're like tiny oranges, and she did this bright white and orange stripes instead, which I thought was so beautiful. And also her orange was like signal orange. It was so cool. I was like, oh, I love this. And also because I had been working on my Enrai socks, I was suddenly like, oh, I know what to make out of that yarn that I have left over. Because yeah, when I was finished with the Enrai socks, I still have quite a substantial amount of yarn left here. And you see the colors that are left are going from like this. Well, actually, I guess I should show this so you can see there is also a purple in there, but it's like this side I like. It's like from this pink to orange to yellows. And I thought like, ooh, I wanna make these socks. These! They are so beautiful. So I went hunting for the book, and I purchased the book, and I've been holding on, or like off from casting on, because I wanted to get some things off my needles. But just imagine to yourself, okay, I'll show you the yarns that I have pulled from my stash. I didn't have to buy one ball of yarn, but that's okay, it's just one ball. The base is gonna be this sort of really dark, I guess like a foresty green with some like brownish spots in there. This is hedgehog fibers sock yarn, which is 90% merino wool, 10% nylon, 100 to 400 grams, and it's called ferrum. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I thought that as a background, this as the flowers, and these as the leaves, I think it's gonna be so pretty. So yeah, this one I had to purchase. It's Arvetta, and it's color 379. I think it's called Sprout, and I think it's gonna be perfect. Because I do have some green yarns, but they were like this wrong shade, or they had too much happening in them, because as this one is not a solid yarn, there's quite a lot. Even though it's, I mean, it's not a lot happening, but it's enough happening that I couldn't pair whatever I had in the stash. It just looked right in one point and not right in the other. So I thought this is gonna be perfect. I mean, like, hello, look at these beautiful flowers. So that is a short-term project that I will cast on my needles. As in short-term, as in I want it cast on in not long. But this book has so many beautiful designs. Like if you do like knitting color work, or if you wanna dab into color work, I think this is a perfect way to do it, because you have the socks that have the color, let me see, that have color work all the way through, like the full length of it. But you can always either minimize it to just the cuff, or you can follow patterns which have like from get-go only the color work only in the cuff. Well, I see there's tiny tad there as well, but that's not a lot. So if you're afraid of like the tension, the fit and stuff, then I think this is a like really lovely way to start. Like you have like cherry on the top. You have stripes, there's something happening all the time. It's so fun. And you have this, yeah, this like a myriad of beautiful designs. I would say, where was this one that it was further back, I think, which I also thought was really beautiful. Like having all those like variegated sort of yarns in your stash, pairing it up with a solid color. There's so many options of colors and color play, and these ones actually as well. Let me see if I can find a better picture of them. Is it all the way back here? Like even like if you have mini skeins or like small leftovers, you don't need a lot of yarn for those color works there. So you can actually use up quite a lot of small stash, kind of small balls of yarn in these socks. Yeah, like maybe plan something for the Valentine's Day. You know, either for your man or your woman, depending, you know. Or, look at these. I mean, I'm not super huge on Halloween, but I think these socks are quite fun actually. This is actually something I could pull off and actually wouldn't mind knitting, because they're not too Halloweeny and they're still like very Halloweeny. So yeah, a lot of beautiful designs if you wanna dab into color work, push the limits of your like colors. Actually, yeah, a lot of times I find that I'm more adventurous when it comes to my socks. I don't mind trying out different colors there, playing around a little bit more, because, you know, like if this color doesn't suit my face, you know, doesn't matter, because it will be on my foot and nobody's gonna see that, you know, like if I put this color up to my face, I'm gonna look like, you know, I died or something. So if you wanna try out color work, colors, try something small like socks. I was gonna say hats, no, not hats, socks, mittens, anything that's not up to your face, anything that's not so huge. Yeah, I guess in that sense it would be socks and mittens, because those are smaller. It's accessories, it's not garments. You're not using a lot of time on trying out colors. Of course you could do swatches, but I agree with some people, like swatches are important and so on and so forth, but at the same time, if you're, for example, having to knit quite a big of a swatch for something to see either the gauge or whatever it is, if the colors match, why not already make a mitten, or like the wrist warmers, or like, you know, play around. I'm not by no any means sponsored. I just think this book is wonderful in regards of color work patterns. And yeah, you can modify them as Anne Mette did, with like not doing all or like not knitting the oranges all the way, but actually going for stripes. So that also makes it more simple. You can modify. You don't have to make everything as it is in the pattern. You are the creator, so you have the power. And then let me see. I also, and yeah, this is one of the reasons why I'm pushing myself. This is like we're stepping into my acquisitions in no particular order, because there's just too much. But I believe I have mentioned Sandwave before, and now I can't remember the name of the designer, but I will write it underneath. And I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to make it, and I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to make it, but it's like it hadn't clicked in my head as in what color I would like to make it in. And I saw a version of it now last weekend, yeah, which I thought was so beautiful. It was sort of this burnt orange kind of colors, and I thought it was so beautiful and made me understand what color I needed to make mine out of, and that is this one here. And the light is not doing it quite the justice, but it is yarn from Garnfene, and the name of it is Alvedronningens kjole. It has glitter in it, which you actually can spot at some places. And it is, I guess, who was that said that? Oh yeah, one of you actually said that the color I was describing, oh yeah, that one I had to touch into. Oh my god, I forgot about, okay, focus. It's kind of like this grapeseed, but it's not as green, this is more like on a yellow. But I'm thinking that gorgeous sandwich sweater, jumper, whatever, in this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. And oh yeah, Alvedronningens kjole, that is Elf Queen's dress. I think the name is so wonderful as well. I'm just trying to see if I can somehow, well, actually, like this part here looks more to the what it's, yeah, well, anyhow, I don't like, what are the things I want to cast on? I think it's so beautiful. And I usually don't go for yarn with glitter, but in this case it was, I could choose the one with the glitter or the one without the glitter, and it was no question, I needed the one with the glitter. So this is gonna be so amazingly beautiful, in my opinion. But I will do a little backflip here, or like backtrack here, because Strikke the bag I showed you last time, and I was talking to you in length about some yarns and me wanting to make the garden of Givenchy shawl, and that, oh, I was lacking a little bit of the minis, and I didn't have enough, and I was complaining, yeah, I did. And then I did what every normal human would do, and that is contact, ooh, and I just saw right, ooh, I just discovered something I haven't discovered before. Because last time I showed you I had 2 of them, this time I have 4 of them, because I contacted the shop and I was like, oh, will you be making more of this yarn? And they said, well, we still have 2 minutes in there. Do you want them? And you see, this one is leaning more into the green, and this one actually now it looks so much more as it's supposed to look, like all looks in real life. Anyhow, I'm talking. So yeah, this is also one of my cast-ons that are happening in a very near future. Now that I have shown you this, now that I have a lot of things off my needles, I can allow myself to start casting on more new things. Oh my god! And yeah, this is the Gardens of oh, let me pull this out. Gardens of Giverny lace shawl, and this is by Alina Appasova. I have just a black and white picture on this one, so I'm gonna have to put up a picture. But yeah. Oh. And this is, I guess, like more like this grape seed. Definitely. It's so beautiful. But what I didn't see before, because I haven't like packed things out 100%, is that she has actually added some tags. Oh my god. It's like a wooden tag, love, handmade. Let me see if I can get it to focus. So cute. She's attached it to the receipt, so since I hadn't taken them out to that degree, I had not seen it. Ooh, it stuck so well. Oh, and she's got a note in there, and I just ripped it. Let me see. Oh. It's a button. I will have to get it off with some help of scissors later on, but isn't that cute? Is it like a coffee cup? No, it's a thimble. It's a thimble. So I guess it should be like that way around. That was fun. Surprise for me. Okay. Is it possible to get overexcited? Yes, it is. I know, but hey ho, that's me. I have the tendency. Okay. Focus, woman, focus. So that I'm looking forward to casting on. And the sand wave. And I'm just trying to think, like, am I gonna show you everything? Probably not everything, because I have some commercial yarns those I will show you when I actually take them in use. But when I was at Garnfenne, it was a knitting day, which I almost missed, which I can get back to later on. But I also just had to have this red. It's a very, very good red. It's rosenrød or rose red. It's coming off a little bit more yellowish red tone on the screen than it is. It's leaning more into a colder red in real life. But it's a very, very good red. Like, really. And it's a bit like heathered or whatever you call. It's not a tonal. Well, I guess it is tonal, you call it. Oh my god, words today. And then you have this one. Ooh, this is blowing out. It's called Innmari Coral, which is like very coral. Not as pink as it's looking. It's like a proper coral, I would say. But it's looking more like a pink, like a neon pink. I'm just trying to see, like, maybe if I do like that, cover up some of the, like, see, it's more like it. But yeah. And these two came home with me because, one, they were pretty, but also I thought, like, I have not decided on the Steven West Cal, whether to go along with it or not. I have been pulling yarns in my stash and thinking, like, can I put this into a gradient? Can I put that into a gradient? And I was like, I felt like I was missing some pops of color to put together with what I was pulling out. So this may not become the Geo Gradient shawl, but I must admit that per today I'm contemplating to be on the sidelines to decide whether to go along with it or not. And the only reason is that I have so many things that I know what they are, that I do want to knit so badly. So I don't know if I want to be spending the time as per today on that shop. So, but with that being said, you never know. Suddenly I'm just like, oh no, I cannot miss, like fear of missing out. FOMO. I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and do it anyway. But per today, that is my plan. And yeah, I think it's so beautiful. I've been leaning so much also like to this corally color. Maybe actually this is like, yeah, that's where it's starting to look more like what it's supposed to look like. Here it's blowing out into this bright pink, which is not, and here it's more like what it's supposed to look like. So that was that. What I will share with you is a very special yarn, which is, and this is where I should have done like some research before, because I actually don't know the right terms for it in English. But this is yarn from Ull. Let's see if we can find one with a label, because most of them, oh, that's upside down. This is Ull. So it is a wild sheep breed here in Norway, which is quite special. I figure it's it says that Norwegian wild sheep has two types of wool. It has soft, fine ull, like the bottom wool. I don't know what the right term for it is, and long and oh my words, shiny sort of like covering hair. And both of those parts of the wool are in this wool, and that makes the yarn both very isolating and like water repellent. Has a lot of lanolin in it. So yes, it's wild sheep. Yes, it's a little bit toothy, but not a lot. And this is actually the base, or the sheep is actually gray. So this is colored on a gray base by Strikk. And I have shown some yarn by Strikk before. I bought, yeah, I can see it there. I'm not going to reach out for it right now, but it's hand dyed over the gray, and I have 550 grams now out of this yarn. It's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. I do have a plan for this yarn, and that is a Weekender by Ravelry. It's actually one of the things I thought straight away about, like when I saw the yarn, when I got to touch it, feel it, because it's about the DK weight, I believe it was. Yeah, 100 grams, 200 meters. So that is perfect. And also I saw that she's released a new Weekender now with a round neck instead of the boat neck that she had before. And actually reminds me, I actually do have, I've been wearing this a couple days now. I have knitted her Weekender before. There it is. It is knit out of a, yeah, I'm gonna have to reach over here and move some stuff. My old vlogger, that is. The main, so to say, main yarn is from Garnbutikken Fortuna. It is Fortuna's lamb's wool, which is 100 grams to 375 meters, and the colorway is called Astrup. And I have held it with a strand of mohair from Viking, I think it was. And again, like, I'm not super green, but I think this green is very pretty. But yeah, I've been wanting to make another Weekender, and I think this yarn and this color would be perfect for that. That was at least my initial thought, and I am sticking to that. and I will not be making the boat neck, but I will making the newer version that she has. I probably will skip the pockets in the new version, because I don't miss that on my jumpers, sweaters as such. So yeah, I will probably not be knitting pockets. But yeah, this is such beautiful yarn. So pretty, I think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to test this out. This is the shop is Strikk. I will link everything below. She has other colors. She also, yeah, have a look in her shop. She does ship abroad. She has beautiful yarn. I've heard so many good things about this yarn before, so I'm so happy to finally be able to knit with this myself and to experience myself. And oh yeah, she also, sorry about the crinkling now. Oh, I'll just pour it out. She also included this really beautiful stitch marker, which is needle felted, I believe, by her daughter. Was it Tale? Yeah, it's so cute. And this is like the kind of stitch markers which I like, which do not get stuck on your knitting, and it's light, so it's like perfect. And she also included some tea in my package, which is like two of my favorite types, which is licorice and vanilla chai. I love those ones. And then some candy. So I'm a lucky girl with a beautiful, and yeah, she also had this beautiful card there. So yeah, I actually got to meet Brit in person, and this is how she came with a sample, like, oh, there's a sample of 50 grams just for you to try out, or like, and I was just like, oh, I need to have this, because I love the color, I love the feel of it, and I knew what I wanted to make out of it. So that is also something that will be coming on my needles sometime during the winter, because I think it's gonna be a perfect winter sweater. So I'm gonna do one more acquisition, just because that is also something I think is really wonderful. It is a new to me yarn. I have not tried this before. I've heard people mention the brand. Is it Jens Hoff JH Design? And this is Høylandsull, Highland wool. And it is 50 to 175 meters, so sport weight, just like Finull is. This is not superwash, and Oeko-Tex certified, and it feels so soft and so lovely. And I have these two colors. I wasn't sure if I had the green thing going, but I have, like, for sure. This is a light gray, and this is sort of this foresty, beautiful green, the kind of green that I do like, and I think those are like really pretty. And what I will be making out of this is a koiva, not the light version, but the other one, because I've been wanting to make that for a longest of times, but I haven't just settled on the color. And then this is another knit thing that we participated on, or like I participated at, and there was a shop there. Yeah, because it was a meetup for podcasters, like on this side of the country in Norway, sort of the eastern southern part. And she had a model out there, like one of the lovely ladies from the shop, which was in this light gray and sort of petroleum blue. And even though that was pretty, that wasn't what I was like wanting. So I thought these two would be, I'm pretty much copying hers with the light gray but base color, I mean color. But yeah, I wanted it to be this green in the color work. I think it's gonna be so pretty. So this is something I want to cast on. I'm not gonna stress with it, but this is some like one of my dream knits for sure that I will be enjoying in the future. And will I show that? Well, actually no. I will share with you my love of sofakroken. Like, look at this. This is some of her stitch markers, and well, these Mickey Mouse ears are from stitch stoppers from Terje's Mynt. But everything else in this box is from Sofakroken, and it's not all of them that I have, but I love her stitch markers. I have to get some new ones now, which are sort of a homage for the whole breast cancer. Let me see. There, you can see it. Did it fight like a girl, wasn't it? Yeah. And the other one, I didn't want it to be overly like breast cancer theme, but at the same time I wanted to support it, and this beautiful heart there. She has an Epla shop, and she has all like, I mean, they are very reasonably priced, her stitch markers, and I find that these ones do not snag on your knitting, and you know, I'm gonna show you this one as well. This is something I have shown before, but hello, sheepies. Oh, focus. No, come on, I want to show my sheepies. Yeah, the camera was suddenly not having any of that. It's focusing on my hand instead, which is kind of annoying, but she has a lot of nice stitch markers. I'm not sure about the international shipping, but I'm sure she will be able to accommodate you if you put an order there. And she also included these beautiful stitch markers, or like stitch stoppers last time, and I was just looking into buying a bit smaller ones, because I love these ones because I think they're fun and whimsical, but I wanted something also that was smaller, so you see there's quite a lot smaller there. And I have loads more of her stitch markers. Like I said, I love them. I think they're just absolutely beautiful. And I'm not sponsored by her, even though she has gifted me some stitch markers, which I have given to some lucky people. But yeah, go check her out. I think she's reasonably priced, and she's very quick to respond if you have any questions or any thoughts. Yeah, now I feel I've dragged things out a little too long. I still have a giveaway to announce. Have I remembered everything? I think so. Before I go into answering some questions that I've been, like, not answer, well, some questions in the sense that I'm gonna reply to some comments orally here now instead of like replying down below in the comments. I haven't had the brain space to be doing so, but as I announced last time, I was gonna do a giveaway as a part of me rounding the year. Actually, I should have mentioned that all the way in the beginning. I have actually made it through a year. I haven't been consistent, I know. So is it much to brag about? Well, maybe not, but here I am doing it anyway. And I was going so much back and forth on whether I should split up those two skeins with, I'll remind you, those two here, or not. This is the Alchemist, the colorway Alchemist Vicky Vera Happylicious. And I have now misplaced my phone. That has the results of my giveaway winners. Let me see. Let me open up. And yeah, I'm gonna say as much that I have decided to split those two up. One is that I want to kind of push you a little bit into trying to do color work with these kind of yarns. and explore a little bit, play a little bit. And in the beginning I was thinking also adding just one ball of that, but I know like it worked out on my foot with a 50 gram ball, but if you're knitting a bigger size or not, that might be not enough. So I will be adding 2 skeins of Arvetta in both blue and the green. Oh, this is blowing out, so it's not as bright blue, it's just really blowing out. So yeah, I'm gonna push you a little bit in the sense that I want you to use this. This is maybe cruel, but I'm sorry if I am. I really just want you to explore a little bit colors. I'm gonna do. I was kind of like going back and forth with me in my last on this. I wasn't sure about it last time when I was talking about it. I've actually been unsure about all the way up until now, but I am gonna go for this. I want you to try to do color work, and it's gonna be enough because I made soon 3 colors. No, 3 colors. 3. I made 2 pairs of socks out of what I have, and I still have a lot left. I had more, yeah. Focus. The winners. The sock blue is won by Tone Reinholdsen Gjelle. So reach out to me either on Ravelry or Instagram to provide me. It looks like I have your full name, but provide me with your address so I can send you these ASAP. That was the sock blue. And then I have the sock green, which is also going to, I believe you know it, Marit Johanna. Same goes for you. Reach out to me either on Instagram or Ravelry, and I will send these your way as soon as possible. So yeah, congratulations to the winners, and sorry about my babbling and rambling. So disorganized. Yeah, so that was all for the knitting content. Don't think I have anything more to share in those regards. I thought I'll reply to to some of your questions. So yeah, knitting content is done. So if this is all that you came here for, thank you for being here, for spending time with me. Happy knitting. Oh, now I forgot something. I thought about doing a knit along. I totally forgot about that. I wanted to do a knit along. There are quite a lot of things happening, so I'm not quite done yet. I thought about doing a knit along, but as we are nearing the time when it's Christmas, and we are all, I'm sure, Christmas knitting or starting to plan to Christmas knit, and there are a whole bunch of knit alongs happening already. So what I thought I'll do is that I'll call it like gift knitting or Christmas knitting, the knit along. I will create a thread for it on Ravelry, and it will run till the end of the year. And what I thought is that this month is the Golden Ribbon Month, which is the awareness around children's cancer. So I thought, like, if you have started something or you're knitting on something that has some yellow in it, put it in the thread. It will give you, I will draw like an extra prize for the month of September. I know this is coming very late, that's why I'm saying that whatever you have already cast on during the month of September, just put it in there, as long as it has yellow in it. And this is where my thoughts are going all the way, because I thought also, like, you know, you can really put anything there, but the projects that, okay, I guess what I'll do, I'll do a little zoop again. At the end of the year, I will draw a winner among all of the projects that have been posted, but there will be like an extra prize drawn for September, October, November, as when they include the like September the color gold or yellow, October the color pink, as it is the breast cancer awareness, and in November an extra prize will be drawn for those who have something blue in their projects. And then when Christmas comes, that's when I will do like one draw from everything. But just post whatever you're making. I will not put any restrictions of well, it has to be a garment or an accessory, so not like tiny things, maybe as, yeah, garments or accessories. That is like the only requirement. And if you want to be eligible for a draw in September, then have something yellow in there. If you want something, yeah, October with something pink, November with something blue, and December everything is game. And yeah, you decide if something is yellow, pink or blue, and it doesn't have to be much, just as long as there's a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing that is that I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of plans, and I don't want to be putting extra stress in there to try to find something extra to knit for the knit along. It's more to inspire, to gather the community, to create awareness around those topics which are really, really important. So yeah, and I'll figure out some sort of maybe hashtag at one point. If I do that, I will put it on the screen, or I'll announce it next time. But I think mainly it's gonna be Ravelry, but I will think also about Instagram, if I can put something in there as a hashtag. Never done a draw from Instagram, so I'm not sure how that works, so would have to do some thinking on those practical things. With that being said, I think I'm really done with the knitting now, so I'll just do a little bit of life and answering some questions or your wonderings. So yeah, if you're here for the knitting part, thank you for coming along, for staying for as long as you did. I hope you enjoyed the time spent with me, and that you might come back next time. Wishing you a lovely knitting autumn or fall or spring or whatever part of the world you're in. So yeah, life-wise, I'm gonna start with one thing that has popped up a couple times, both after I started podcasting, but also in my real life. I have been met with a question whether my name is my full name or if it's short for something. It's not. My name is short and sweet, those 3 letters. It's not short for anything. That's the whole of it. I think one of the first times I was kind of asked about it was this girl who said, like, is it Elodine or something like that in French? Not that. It's just simply Elo. That's it. Like, this is like an Estonian name. We have quite a few girls there who are called that. That was my name. And then I wanted to talk about the bag I showed you last time, the felted bag that I had made years ago. And I kind of called out to the universe, or you, my viewers, saying like, are you interested in, because it's not getting the love it deserves. I put time and effort in it, and it's not being used. And one lady did reach out, so my bag is now living, I think it was north of England, at least England for sure. We decided to do a swap, so I sent her the bag and I popped in a few balls and hanks of yarn just to give some, I don't know, like if she had knitted a lot from Norwegian yarns before, but I thought like, I'll send her some nuggets of what I consider to be gold, like good yarn. So yeah, so my bag has received a loving home, which I'm so happy for. Then I had a question whether I had knit the socks by Andrea Maury, which are called the Curio socks. I have not, but I have knit something similar to them a little while back. So those are definitely something I could consider making, like going on like further on, because I still have some self-striping yarns or sort of like this sort of gradient yarns which I could put into that kind of use. But yeah, those are pretty socks. I've heard a lot of good things about them before. I'm trying to think what's what's this guy? He's Irish, he lives in London, he podcasts. Jonathan Days, I think he's called. I think he's made quite a few of those, and he raves about this pattern all the time. So yeah, I've heard only good things about this pattern, so definitely something to check out. And then I also had this I thought it was sweet, and I mean there was several sweet comments that I both smiled at and laughed at and had so much fun with. There's somebody who had tried to make a rhyme with was it Dr. Seuss? My mind is blanking out, but I regret not writing it down because it was so funny. I just had to laugh just out loud when I read that. But I had this question. So all the shawls you knit, do you consistently wear them everywhere? And I would say, yeah, I'm a huge shawl wearer, and I have a substantial collection of shawls in different materials, sizes, colors, because you know different weather call for a different type of shawls. And then it's also, am I wearing a nice coat which I want to have like a nice shawl that's like laying on top of it, or do I want it to be tucked inside? Because I do have a winter coat which does not have that space, because it has also a hoodie. It does not have that space to have a big beautiful shawl in there, so I need something smaller to have in there. And sometimes I can even wear like 2 shawls at the same time, having like a tiny silk shawl within, like all the way in, and then something other over, because you know it gets cold, and then it's nice that you know you can take off maybe woolly things but still have some type of warmth in there. And also sometimes it's nice to have sort of the summery shawls, or like when spring comes and it's you have the very warm sun but a cold wind still, so you're like, it's too warm with a wool kind of shawl, but it's too cold without anything around. So I have this one, I would say a favorite shawl, which I like to throw over just to give that little protection from the wind without getting very hot. So yeah, I do use a lot of shawls, and luckily for me as well, I know quite a few people who like shawls, who like wearing shawls, so I do gift some to others. And I have actually gifted away 2 of the shawls that I've shown you on the podcast. Yeah, the peasant shawl, I loved it, but it never felt like mine. And then I met up with my girlfriend at one coffee shop a while back, and then she started commenting, and I was like looking at her and looking at her colors, and I was like, oh my god, this shawl was meant to be with you. I don't know, do you ever have that experience that you knit something, you love it, but it never feels like it's yours? And then you meet a person in your life and like, oh, you're the person who was meant to get this all along. So I had that one with this one, and also, yeah, I'm blanking on the pink shawl I had with the lace and the pink stripes. Anyway, that was the same feeling. It was like I really loved it, and then it's like kind of fell in place that this is supposed to go to this friend of mine, which I did gift it to her, and she loved it. So, and she had like worn my previous shawl into bits and pieces, like literally worn out, you know, there was wear and tear in that shawl, and I was like, this came in the right time. Yeah, it was time for a new one. And yeah, that was the questions I pulled out this time, because there was a lot of comments which weren't questions or anything in those regards which I could like answer to, but those were the ones that I felt would be good to answer, kind of like give a reply to. Yeah, I saw also there was one comment. I don't know if I should maybe I'll reach out to her in person. I'll do that, I think. Life-wise, I have been participating in different kinds of knitting events. I've been to a knit day twice at Inge Johanna's place, who is also a podcaster here on YouTube, and Bare en maske til is her channel together with Gro and Terje. And I was so lucky to be invited to her. Yeah, my words are starting to disappear. It's nice. I love meeting people, chatting about knitting and yarns, and like feel like you fit in with it. Because I understand that I breathe, eat, sleep, yarn, creating something, doing, and not everybody is like that. So I feel like I wear out the people around me. I'm trying to be conscious of it and not do it, but I think I still do it to a degree. So it's nice to meet up at places where people are like doing the same. They are knitting, breathing, like sleeping, yarn or whatever fiber sorts. So it was nice to be invited there to meet new like-minded people, make new friends, acquaintances, and I can be, I've said it before, I can be a little bit shy when it's big crowds. I tend to pull back. Also now that when I get tired, I do tend to pull back, because then I have trouble almost like hearing, because my mind is not processing the words anymore that are coming my way, so to say. So I might say the wrong things or not hear things correctly, and that's like, I feel so defeated in those moments. So I want to say a big thank you to those of you who have reached out, that have stayed talking to me, even like when I start to float out in my words and my mind and not really, well, I am engaged. It's not that I want to be part of the conversation, but I feel sometimes I just fall out of those conversations and maybe reply incorrectly, if that makes sense. So yeah, and there was this podcast meetup, which was also very nice. I got to meet a lot of the a lot of the people I follow on YouTube. I got to meet yeah, a lot of nice people. I spoke to some, not all, I must say. Like I said, I tend to stick to a few people. I cannot get to know everybody in the same go, because I get overwhelmed by it, which is silly maybe. I don't know. I do feel like this. So I get to know some new people, and then I just sort of stick to them. It's nothing personal if you met me and felt like maybe I wasn't interested. It's just like I start getting overwhelmed, and that's when I sort of do not reach out anymore or keep the conversation short. So it has nothing. It's no personal agenda for me, sort of. And I also, that was also nice. I went to, actually I can talk about the happening at Garnfjell, which I almost missed out. There was a knit day out in Kvelde here in Norway, which is in Larvik kommune, if like you want to look it up on the map. And I had been looking forward to it so bad. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm looking forward to meet all the wonderful people I've been talking to, I've gotten to know, and so on and so forth, right? So Saturday comes and I'm planning like, okay, what to bring on Sunday, because I'm going there on Sunday. And then Nina from Glade Tråd here on YouTube, she goes like, weren't you supposed to be on this knit event? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking so forward to it, and I'm gonna come, I'm getting ready for it. And then she's like, you do know it's today? And I was like, was it possible to be so out of touch? Well, actually, it's not out of touch. I think it's because of the 2 previous events were on Sunday. So in my mind, the 16th of September, it was on a Sunday, of course. So what I mean, that was like, she reached out to me, I think it was maybe 12:30, and it's about 1.5 hours drive from Oslo. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pack my things, jump into the car and leave, and it'll be as late as it will be, and you know, I'll stay there for as long as I can. It'll be fine. And it was. I just had to laugh out of myself. It was like, how, you know, you've been looking so forward to this for such a long time, and then you almost miss it because you can't keep track of your dates. But all in all, it was really lovely experience. I got to say hello to new people. I got to talk to people I've spoken to before, who I think are just absolutely beautiful people, creators, knitters, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And again, if I didn't reach out to you on that event, it's nothing personal. It's just, I realized, like, after the fact, the day after, that I was quite fatigued from, like, it wasn't like stressful. I never stressed myself up, but you know, the drive, the commute to and back to the space, and then being like interacting with people, it took a toll on me. I enjoyed it a lot, but yeah, I was quite fatigued. So if I didn't reach out or do like extra something, it's again nothing personal. I just need to soothe myself. Well, like soothe myself, but like sort of get into it nice and slow. So yeah. And then if that wasn't enough, I also went to our main library here in Oslo. They had a knit night event with 2 designers, one of them being Inga Semmingsen and the other one being Maya Karlsson. And they both spoke about how they design, what inspires them. So they went through some of their designs. Inga went through her designs, and like she said, she hasn't really found her voice yet, or kind of a like when you think of petite knit, you know what you're kind of getting. These sort of this classic timeless sort of designs. Inga is very playful. Her designs are very, very playful and fun, and they so much reflect her, because she was so much fun to listen to like see her inspiration, thoughts, like how she functions. It was just so much fun. It was hilarious. I really enjoyed her speech. And Maya Karlsson, you can also see her personality in her designs, in the way she speaks. It correlates. It's so beautiful to see and so inspiring. I do find it very inspiring to listen to designers tell how they get to a certain design, how they work, how they function. So if you have a possibility to go and listen to somebody, maybe it's not even designs that you have either knitted or wanna knit or ever been like pulled towards to, it can be just fun to listen and experience how does the designer think, how do those creations come about, because you might just find yourself thinking like, I do that all the time, but I never have the confidence to put into maybe my knitting or crocheting or my crafting of sorts. So I think it's very inspiring to listen to people who are inspired, who are brave, and they're putting themselves out there. Maybe they don't even feel themselves being brave, but they just kind of have this creative force that they cannot stop, and they want to put it out there. So that was a very good experience. There was some music played there. I do not remember the name of the band, but she is also a knitter. She also had, at least at one point, a YouTube channel on YouTube. She had a knitting podcast on YouTube, is what I was trying to say, with a another person, and I think she was also dyeing yarn, but the name is now kind of slipping my mind because it's been a while since I seen anything from her. But yeah, all in all, a wonderful event. And then this lady came over to me and said, "Hello, I watch your YouTube channel, I really enjoy you," and so on and so forth. And I was so perplexed and not prepared, and I think I just like went like that, and I felt so embarrassed afterwards, and especially because I was meaning to walk over to her because I've been oogling her and like thinking like she has this beautiful top, this beautiful tee on her, and I want to know the design, the make, you know, like what is that you're wearing. So if you by any chance recognize yourself now from that evening from Bjørvika Deichmanske and coming over to me and saying hello, you were the only one, there was nobody else coming to me, so it's you. If you think it's you, it is you. I would love to know the name of the design you were wearing, because I thought it was beautiful, this sort of lacy top that you had on, it was beautiful. I would love to know the design of it. So yeah. Do I have anything more to say? I mean, there's been things happening, I've got to do things, I've traveled a little. I'm not going to tap into it because I see I'm already at almost 2 hours with this episode, and I thought it was going to be short because I was rushing through my finished object. But yeah, put a dime in me and I will chatter on for ages, it seems like. I will definitely try to not leave it for as long to podcast next time. I did try to podcast several times, but again, like I said before, life happened. It didn't work out as planned. But yeah, here I am finally. And again, thank you for tagging along, for leaving me beautiful comments. They are always appreciated. I have allowed myself the space of not replying to every single one, because I want the answers to be personal. If I do answer to every single one, and I don't always have the mind space to do so, and I don't want to seek out some to answer to and not the others. So yeah, this is just me saying that thank you so much for every single one of you who commented, who have left such beautiful, sweet comments. I mean, it's always such a joy to read them, and just, yeah, thank you so much for taking that time to write to me. So yeah, hopefully not as long till next time I podcast. Try to be more consistent with my podcast. Not promising anything, but that is at least something that I aim for. So again, if you have not subscribed yet and you did like what I have to share, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a dime. And if you click the notification bell, then you will be notified as soon as I release an episode. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with me. Have a lovely autumn. Knit all the beautiful things you desire. And yeah, lots of love from me to you. Bye.